Hi, everyone, and welcome to Book Club with Bay. I am Bay, and this is Bay. Say hi, Bay.
Hi, Bay.
And this is Other Bay. Say hi.
Hello.
And today we are talking about Till Death, a very confused book by Jennifer L. Armentrout that doesn't know what the fuck it wants to be. Anyway.
At least it was not narrated by Justine Eyre. Like,
Oh
it's
my
really,
God, can you fucking imagine?
it's like every time I hear Jennifer L. Armentrout, my brain automatically goes narrated by Justine Eyre.
Narrated by Justine Eyre. And as a special feature tonight, we are also going to
This
be
is my
reviewing Kissing the Coronavirus,
This is my
a
fault.
very
Sorry.
short ebook that Addie found.
Yep.
Yeah. But we're
Yep.
doing that last. So we're
Yep.
going to talk about the primary work that we have here today. As always, let's start with ratings. Oh, and you know what? Spoilers ahead for both fine works of literature.
Very fine works of literature.
This is Book Club with Bay, not spoiler-free book review with Bay. So, without further ado, let's hop into it. So, starting with Till Death. How are we rating this thing? What do we think, guys? What do we think?
I'm gonna go with Stan first. I don't stan, and
I don't stan.
you guys know precisely why I don't stan. One thing as well, though, is after I finished reading it, I looked on Goodreads, and it seems to be about 50% of people guessed who it was from that same conversation.
It's a murder mystery romance, by the way.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
a suspense thriller. Like, literally, the genre is suspense, and she gives it away in the character's first mention. Although you guys did it, so neither of you guys picked up on it. Is that
Well,
right?
here's the thing. I think, had I been writing the book, I would have written a real book in which Cole was actually the murderer, because it was the thing that made the most sense. He was the character that we were actually invested in.
Yeah.
And like there was actually a question mark, so it would have been interesting. She went with the boring route. Random character you don't care about is going to be the killer. Isn't that fun? It's not. It's boring. I was so bored. What my whelmed rating is that I was under fucking whelmed the entire time. This is a book that it wants to be a romance novel. It sucks at that. And it wants to be a murder mystery, and the murder mystery is not interesting. Like the setup for the serial killer is kind of funky, but we don't learn enough.
It could have been really cool. Like, the concept of the original serial killer, he could have been a Criminal Minds episode.
Yeah, I was just about to say, like, but we don't learn a ton about it until like you're already bored out of your fucking mind, and then you're like, oh, is that what he did? All right, whatever. So like you're just so checked out by the time you find out like what the original murderer did.
Yeah, and even when we're reading an adult book where the main character is almost 30, right? We still got the I was a virgin in college main character.
Yeah.
Because she was a virgin until the groom took her, and that was when she was in college.
Yep.
Yeah. Like Jenny did branch out. She branched out. Okay. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure at least one of her freaking romance ones, at least one has the virgin thing. But the actual romance books aside, doesn't matter the age. They're a virgin until they meet their one true love, or apparently in this case gets kidnapped. But in college, not a lot of people go to college as virgins.
That's very true.
YA or romance novels would have you believe otherwise, but you know, and like we said, the actual groom it's an interesting concept. It's a fun Criminal Minds episode, but because we're just watching this wooden plank whose only character trait is I was kidnapped. It's like that's not a personality.
I will say though, one thing that is nice is the level of trauma she still has from it is reasonable and not insufferable.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, no, that was nice.
She has an acceptable level of trauma.
Well, for a book, I think like in real life, I would still be a fucking clusterfuck.
Yeah, I mean, in real life, like 10 years later, like most people probably would still be like, especially if they sought professional help, would probably be
for like
at
6 years.
Yeah.
They're probably at around the same thing. So one thing I'm really confused about though is like because we didn't get a lot of details about the time she was with the groom, which was her first kidnapping.
I mean, that's what I was interested in. I was like, fuck this. Tell me about the things.
Well, one thing I'm really confused about is because we got told that she got beaten and raped, and talked to and yelled at and all that stuff. But her body is covered in scars.
Well, her body's covered in scars from when he tried to stab her.
Oh, the stabbing. Okay, I'm like, where the fuck did the
So, in my opinion, the prologue should have been her being whatever by the groom,
because it was really jarring trying to work out what the fuck, because it's like we got dropped in like 4 chapters in.
Yeah, I was like, this is really dark. I was like, oh god.
Yeah, well, like I said, a big issue with this is that it's a romance novel, and like the characters have no fucking chemistry. Like she's just, I'm in love with him, and I'm like, I don't fucking believe you, but okay.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like I call Stixie babe a lot, right? But and I don't know what it's like reading it, but Cole,
calm down.
Like, I mean, when I call Stixie babe, it's not like 20 times in a conversation. It's just like, hey babe, yeah, blah. And then at the end, it might be thanks, babe.
Yeah.
And then that's it. It's not 50 million times in the middle of
sentence. But I'm gonna search babe in the ebook.
Oh yes, do it.
Even the first time, they're like, I don't know, there's just something so cringy about listening to an audiobook where they're just, even the first babe had me go, ooh. And it could have been no, because I knew what was coming as soon as he said it. I'm like, he's not going to say her name again for the rest of the book.
So it's said 26 times. Let's look at baby, because he also calls her that.
Baby, I think, is only a couple times.
It's 10. There's 10 mentions of it.
It's too many.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I mean, and the other thing, okay, because let's, like, reviewing it as a romance novel, the sex scenes were weirdly written, okay, because they were super short.
Yeah, they were short.
But also really explicit. Which
there were quite a few times where, like, their normal standard morning routine is she wakes up and he's just
doing his thing.
Doing his thing. Mouth thing, not penis thing. Because then they have a shower and then they swap. And I'm just like, every morning. And I'm like, look, I understand that, like, especially in a fresh relationship, you have a lot of sex. You have a lot of sex at the beginning of a relationship. But you don't wake up every day to your boyfriend going down on you.
No.
Your relationship. I don't know what that was supposed to. It just felt weird.
I think it was her trying to remind us that this is a romance novel.
But
like the first time it happened, I'm like, okay, that's fine, I guess. But then, if like a few chapters later, she was like, in what's become our morning routine, I woke up with his head between my legs, and I'm like, that's a really weird morning routine to develop.
Yeah, it is.
Also, like at that point, it was only like a few days after they started blinking.
Yeah, well,
they are together for a fucking. And this is why I thought he was the murderer, because I was like, he's way too into her. And you're too into him. You're falling for it, hook, line, and sinker, and he's going to kill you. They just get married at the end, and I was like,
she's like, but I couldn't do the white dress or the veil. It was too much. I'm like, we have got no indication prior to. Oh wait, no, the trauma, of course.
She also,
why was she so traumatized by a wedding?
Yeah, well, because she was almost murdered in a white dress. Yeah, in a wedding gown.
But like, how little time is spent explaining to us what the groom was, what he did, why it was bad. Like, all that kind of stuff is just not in there at all. And so we're just sitting here like,
you know what could have like helped with like that whole epilogue scene as well. Like, you know, I don't know, maybe if they'd been walking through town and she saw a freaking wedding dress shop, and being back in town and seeing the wedding dress shop, she had a PTSD little meltdown thing. Then it probably wouldn't have gone over my head, because at the end I'm like, why is she so triggered by a wedding dress? Because she was kidnapped by a guy who tried to murder anyone. I get it now. But I'm like,
yeah.
It was the serial killer thing could have been really cool.
It could have been, but because of the romance angle, and like she just didn't use the romance angle to her advantage. Like, if I were her, I would have just combined Jason and Cole into one person, and just it could have been a good book.
I know. I guess though it just feels though that like Cole without the things that made me think that Jason was the guy, Cole is the too obvious choice.
Yeah, it is very. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
here's the other issue.
What would have been even more trippy was if it was Cole's cousin, the cop.
Yeah.
That would have been more blindsiding, especially if he had the exact same level of participation in the story until the big reveal that, twas me.
Well, the other thing that was really annoying about this was because, like, in a romance novel, if the only people who we ever speak to are the main character and the love interest, that's fine, because we're here for the boinking, not for the story, okay? But in a book where you're like, now take my plot seriously, I'm like, well, you're going to have to give me more from these fucking characters than just, like, I had a black friend and she was pretty and that's it. We're not going to talk to her ever. Are we going to talk to her ever again? No. But
no,
like,
we talk to Miranda constantly.
Do we?
Yeah, she's calling Miranda throughout the whole book.
Yeah, Miranda's in most chapters.
I didn't notice that.
She's just not a very... She's in the book a lot, but she's not interesting enough to hold your attention.
Yeah.
Well, she also doesn't... Like, she never talks things out with Miranda. She never actually uses Miranda the way that you would actually... Okay, I say use. She never...
The main reason...
She never engages with Miranda the way that you would actually engage with a friend.
Miranda mainly in the book to pass on information to Jason so Jason can know it.
Yeah.
That's Miranda's purpose in the book.
But as a friend character, you could take her out and nothing would change.
Well, Jason wouldn't have known she was coming back to town until she came back without Miranda.
Well, that's true.
That's it.
But my point is that as like what she's supposed to be to the main character, because the main character is never like, hey, Miranda, what's her name? Fucking Sasha. Sasha's her name, right?
Yeah.
She's never like, hey, Miranda, I'm feeling like this and I want to talk about it.
Yeah, no, like, again, Miranda's main purpose in the book is just so she can be like, can I tell Jason? Of course you can tell Jason. Okay. Now Jason knows everything. That's it.
I thought it was so fucking stupid that Jason's like kill lair was under the inn.
Yeah, no, that is fucking dumb.
That was so fucking stupid. I was like, and no one knows about this, really.
Well, I get that maybe they didn't. If he had like a little cave, like if he had a little den under there and no one knew about it, like I can buy that, because a lot of old buildings have like bricked off cellars and stuff like that you can't get into.
But he knew.
But he was torturing people. He was cutting off some bitch's finger.
Yeah, and you're telling me that there's no way someone could have heard that from upstairs when Cole heard her screaming? You're telling me. You're telling me.
Yeah, no, because also, like, the inn is fucking old. And as we know, when it comes to old buildings, you can hear everything. Okay? And
I'm pretty sure I'm getting my finger cut off scream is louder than help me scream. Like, she's half past being choked and she manages to scream to help me. I'm pretty sure getting your finger cut off would elicit a louder noise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it would. Unless he had you, like,
KO'd.
drugged.
But he's a psychopath, so like he gets off on causing the pain. So she
Yeah.
would be why fully pain med free.
Ouch.
Yeah, as soon as he dragged her down to the cellar, I was like, "You're fucking joking."
Hmm?
As soon as he took her down to the cellar, I was like, "You're fucking joking, right? Like you didn't actually do this down here, right?" Like,
No, but yes, like, no, it wasn't just where he was taking her that day. Okay, here's another thing that bothers me about this, because you have your main character, right, who's about to get murdered and tortured, or tortured then murdered. Here's my issue. She manages to get herself free, but nobody else can get free of him except for her, because she's special for no reason.
yeah,
Which doesn't make any fucking sense, because if
Well,
he
it's because she pulled a Rapunzel and pulled out the freaking frying pan. Seriously,
but like,
you can't get be Rapunzel.
for the past 10 years, he's been alone, murdering bitches, giving people stitches, whatever. And I'm sorry. And so you mean to tell me nobody's ever fought back and he
yeah.
didn't overpower them? Like, you mean to fucking tell me no other bitch like grabbed a frying pan or a rolling pin? Like, are you
I feel like potentially, because based on what they were saying about his standard victim outside of him helping Daddy Dearest and this round of stuff, he's been taking people that no one will miss. So that implies probably homeless, malnourished, kind of weak.
That's
so
also true.
drug addicted. So I can kind of buy that, but also I don't buy that James got knocked out by this fucker.
Yeah.
Because also I don't know if a lot of people know this, but chefs are fit as fuck. Like, not necessarily like, no body
Attractive
fat, but they are
fit.
strong. They
Yeah.
are strong. You cannot be a chef without being strong. Okay, you work up your strength as you're a cook, and you work your way up. And chefs are strong as fuck because they're kneading shit all day, they're mixing shit all day,
Yeah.
they're flipping shit all day. Like their arm muscles are just like. So
Yeah.
and it's just like, look, I think I can understand her being more of a challenge, but he's so experienced that unless he's like trying to murder female John Wick,
Unless she's female John Wick.
I don't fucking believe you that he couldn't overpower her. Like, fuck off. Really? You mean to tell me he has no way to overpower unruly victims?
Yeah, well, especially because we've also got no indication that she does any sort of fitness.
Yeah.
Actually, she says that she doesn't know what the inside of a gym looks like, because if she doesn't know what the inside of a gym looks like, then she's relatable.
Yeah.
So,
But and she's not the kind of person that would go for a jog because she was kidnapped and tortured.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
you're not gonna
yeah.
be a joggy lady.
And yeah, like jogging alone at any point of day would probably set you freaking
yeah.
Yeah.
But Jenny just makes it sorry.
And she's got no weight. She doesn't even do freaking yoga. Her main activity this book is banging coal.
Yeah. Well, and
Jenny
Jenny
doing some really, really, really
really kinky stuff.
yeah.
really kinky stuff that's built up her her strength in the last week.
But even then, that doesn't explain the first time that she escaped. Because she wasn't boinking coal before.
Well, the first time she was genuinely just lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like she literally just got lucky. There was a rock next to where he was stabbing her to death, and she got lucky.
Yeah.
But Jenny goes out of her way to tell us this woman is super not fit.
Yeah.
She doesn't do any kind of physical activity. Yeah, she's like, she doesn't even like, her home is 2 stories and she doesn't use the stairs. Like, that's basically what Jenny said.
Yeah.
And now she's going to fight off a fully grown man who has at least 10 years experience on his resume.
Yeah.
And plus as well, like the groom was like older as well, so he's probably starting to get a little bit more. Whereas like Jason's like 30. He's young, he's fit. Like he there's no I am also really upset. This is like such a like little thing. But I'm really upset that Jenny missed an amazing opportunity for just some cute banter between Sasha and Cole. Like it's when he says, "I love you," and she's like, "What? You love me?" And he's like, "I've loved you for 10 years, Sasha. I've loved you the entire time you were gone, and I've loved you since the moment I walked into the dining room and saw you standing there." And then she's like, and because and then he's like, or maybe you were just going to tell me that you want a Japanese takeout and this is about to get really awkward. And she's like, no, I was going to tell you I love you. And then
Japanese takeout sounds great.
Yeah, where is it?
It's the last chapter.
Yeah, no. So she's like, I love you, Cole. I've been in love with you since our first date. And yeah, and he's like, I'm so glad this didn't get awkward. But what that whole thing would have been cuter as is like, I love you, blah, blah, blah. And then she's like, but Japanese takeout does sound grand. And he's like, I love you so much, blah, blah, blah. But we're not getting Japanese takeout. Just like that little like, hell no, we're not getting that.
Or even if like
I will die for you. I will kill anyone who tries to hurt you, but I'm not eating that.
Or even if like
really cute.
she had just reversed the conversation and it had just been like, I love you, but if you don't feel that way, then Japanese takeout is fine. And she was like, you know what? Japanese takeout does sound good.
Sounds really good.
And I'm just like, so what do you want? And then she starts ordering it and he's just like, oh no. And then then like immediately she's just like, oh, by the way, sorry. I love you too.
Like,
yeah, that would be cute.
Because, like, the two of them, they have, well, not necessarily the two of them. She has, like, had hints in her personality where banter could potentially be a thing that is part of her relationship style for her.
Yeah.
And it's just, I like it because all their relationship is, I don't need you to protect me, but I must. But I don't need you to, but I must. Okay, you can help, but I'm strong. Okay, you're strong, but I'm going to be here too. Okay, I love you too. That's their relationship. And
they have no like, am I wrong, or do they have no chemistry?
But little bits like that where they could have had like a little bit of banter takeout thing. That would have built the chemistry.
Well, yeah, because like I understand that she's also every time she went, there's 10 years between us. So I'm like, he's 10 years older. Oh, right. 10-year gap. Okay.
Yeah, that was weird phrasing.
It really was, because it makes him sound like he's 10 years older than her. And I was like, ooh, kinky. Oh, that's not what you meant.
Like 2 or 3 years older than her.
But like, yeah, you don't get the sense that they knew each other a long time ago, other than the fact that she's like, I've known him for so long. And you're like, all right, sweetie, calm down.
My boyfriend before I got kidnapped, and then I left without telling it.
So you don't get the sense that they used to know each other. They're just like, and then I took him to coffee and now we boink forever. And it's like that.
And then Crisis didn't last very long. It lasted pretty short. But the thing that gets between them was she finds out he used to be married.
I was just thinking about that.
I don't know how you could have told me. I don't know how you could. It's like, well, like we've been a bit busy. First, like there was your car getting smashed up, the killed deer in your mum's car. I was going to tell you at dinner that night. You got a bit fucking weird. And then there was dead deer. Then people keep on like freaking like attacking you and stuff. So like, when did you want me to bring it up?
I didn't mention the fact that I'd been married before. It didn't seem important compared to the rest of the stuff we're going through. Yeah, I was really afraid when that was mentioned. I was like, fuck.
And just the way she
and like, come on.
And like after like he explains why he hadn't told her yet and stuff, like she gets over it pretty quickly, like thank Christ. But it's also like that just feels like the kind of thing you tell someone. And I'm like, what, that he got married 8 years ago and got divorced 4 years ago? Or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Because he was only married to his ex for like a couple years.
Mhm.
But I will say, when he's telling her about it and he's like, what I noticed about my ex was that she wasn't you. I was like, this is a serial killer speech. Run, Sasha, run. Like, get out of there.
You know, that is also just the quintessential romance
Yeah.
love interest speech.
I know, but like also we're in the middle. See, here's the thing: you can't put the normal like insta love romance stuff into a murder mystery where everyone's a suspect, because then you're like, because now suddenly in that context, stuff that you're like, oh, that might be cute, right? Turns into like he's a serial killer.
The thing that gets me the most though is the mayor is the one that vandalized her car and put the dead deer in
Right?
the monster.
Right? Yeah. I'm like, are we not gonna? Because we don't. We've never unpack that at all.
No,
Like,
we also never unpack the coach.
no, we don't.
Yeah.
There are a lot
Was
of
he like
revelations
with
in this.
Angela? Like, was he? Wasn't he? Because they're like, this makes no sense that he was having an affair. And then she was like, I guess I don't need to tie up that loose end because we have the killer
Yeah.
now. I'm like, no, we do need to tie up that loose end because it makes no sense. Like, was it like we didn't even get straight up because everyone was doubting it. They didn't even confirm, like, oh yeah, it was bizarre that Angela actually was a secret hoe bag, right? No, nothing.
No,
Well,
we
and
just immediately move on.
And then the fact that the coach was the one who pushed her down the stairs and then by accident. And then he was the one who took the key and broke in. Like, we don't unpack that either.
Yeah, like all of her taunting that sets off like this whole serial killer thing, like, you know, she needs to be protected. None of it was Jason.
Yeah, that's
Jason
true.
was kill 2 people. And
Yeah, like
send her a
Jason
finger.
independently murdered people, but that was it.
But then 2 other people also did things that, yeah.
It
like
would have made way more sense if it was just all Jason.
Yeah.
Like, because, you know, you're introducing the mayor and the coach. I mean, the coach was a really bad red herring, but the mayor was a red herring, obviously. Yeah. But then to turn around and have your red herring do stuff, like, how does the reveal that it was the red herring change anything if we're not going to unpack it? I'll tell you how it does. It doesn't.
And, like, the mayor also, because, like, the mayor obviously wanted her to leave town and stuff. Like, I think it's stupid, but I'm fine with him doing his blustering. I don't want you back in town. Crap, because like that's just quintessential douchebag. Well, you know, douchebag
doesn't want a bad image for his town, kind of thing.
Yeah. Like I'm fine with that. If stupid people wouldn't act like the mayor wouldn't actually say that, but I'm fine with it. But him vandalizing her car and putting a dead deer in the car, knowing that the cops are probably
that's weird
and stuff like that.
So weird.
That, you know what would
it's not consistent.
You know what would make way more sense is if it was Jason wanting to taunt her and play with her before killing her, because he's like, I'm so angry that you murdered my dad. Here's a dead deer.
Even though she didn't murder his dad.
Yeah, well, you know.
And the car vandalism thing as well, like it could have been like, you know, he needed to see for himself that she was back. He saw her walking in and got really fucking angry, like just at the sight of her up a car. Because we know that Grayson has anger issues.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So like that's the other thing that's weird is like it's characterized that Jason is the crazy angry one, but he didn't do any of the impulsive things out of this enormous amount of rage. It was everybody else. It's like, you know, because it could have been like Jason was going down to his cellar, but whoops, she was there. So he just and like murdered her with the door for a minute.
So, people keep going on, like just very quick rundown of the plot. Chick gets kidnapped by a serial killer 10 years ago. She escapes when she's about to get doodled. She manages to they managed to work out where he was based on the information that she could provide. They go to arrest him. He kills himself. She leaves town, comes back to town 10 years later. She starts getting random weird shit starts happening to her. A couple girls women go missing and end up dead. Her ex-boyfriend, who is now an FBI agent, is like, I'm going to protect you. They get back together. Boom, bum, bum. It's one of her college best friends that's the killer, and he's mad at her.
Oh, can we, real quick, a discussion about Cole. Okay, so Sasha's the main character. Cole is the love interest. Jason is the friend / serial killer. Miranda's the best friend who doesn't matter. And then mom is mom. And the mayor is the mayor. Okay, cool. That's our character rundown. So anyway, something that I found very odd about Cole, especially because Jenny was like, it's not true that you have to wait 48 hours. That's like a myth from TV. It's like, all right. So is it also a myth from TV that an FBI agent acting like grotesquely out of his jurisdiction investigating things wouldn't be like a problem?
But no, because he's not acting in his capacity as an FBI.
Yeah, he's not doing anything that
I'm guessing he's taken leave.
Well, they don't say that.
Yeah,
well, no.
He could have. All he needed to say was, "I'm taking a leave until this is resolved, so I can stay with you." That's all that needed to be said.
Yeah, because otherwise, he has a lot of free time.
Yeah, because a cop and like any citizen can investigate a crime.
Yeah.
As long as they don't commit crimes to do so. And yeah, in none of it, I don't think like I can't remember Cole saying you're talking to the FBI, you must tell me information.
No.
Well, he uses his badge to get in places.
He uses his badge to get into her hospital room when she's in the hospital, and that's it.
Oh yeah, but that's kind of like
that makes sense.
Well, yeah, no, that did.
Anyone would do that.
But there were a couple other places where he was like, I'm an FBI agent, you're going to tell me a thing. Which, like, fine, but...
Yeah, but I think, though, because his actions in this he wasn't investigating on behalf, like, as an FBI agent, he was investigating that as a love interest who happens to be an FBI agent.
Yeah. Yeah, but the situation just...
Yeah, and then when shit got real, he called the FBI in.
Yeah, I also feel like though at least one person would have been like, hey, Cole, you kind of... this ain't your business. Like, I feel like at least one person, though, would have like, in reality, one of the cops or other FBI agents whose business it is would have been like, Cole, this isn't your case. Back off.
Well, the FBI agents tried to do that. They were like, this isn't even your department, buddy. And he's like, but that's my girlfriend.
Yeah, I guess I forgot that conversation. That whole thing was weird as well. Like that was
so weird.
It was very odd, and it was very,
But like, and she gets so close. Like Jenny gets so close to it being like, to them saying, "We think you're making this up and doing this all yourself for attention," but she never actually gets there. And without actually going there, that whole thing was a waste of time.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like them going there as well in terms of plot would have been a waste of time as well, but it's a conflict, so it's fine. Like, you can add the conflicts into your books that don't actually have an impact on the end result of the book.
Well, and the thing about suspense and thrillers is that you need some dead-end threads.
Yeah, and I mean, like, it could have actually even been, like, if that part of the story had been introduced a bit earlier, and they went with it, and then Cole started to doubt her, that could have been an interesting route to go down.
Right.
But we didn't get to explore any of that because Jenny gets almost to them accused, like she gets to everything until they're about to say, we think you're making it up.
Yeah, and then Cole walks in and he's like, what are you doing, my woman?
And then they're like, well, I was trying to get information to catch the bad guy, Cole. Oh, okay then. Kind of
so extra. You're so extra in that scene.
And that was it.
Honestly, he's so extra in every scene.
He is. Like,
he's kind of a baby.
Cole is Alex.
Alex.
I have so many of those books now. I'm just on my computer. I just have them.
Oh, right, because we were looking for like where it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, fun fact, Jenny made my bookshelf kill itself. So that's fun.
Oh yeah, that's right. So we were like trying, because I was trying to show her like Agathi Moo and stuff like that, and we were looking for it, and we were playing it and stuff, and we were laughing our asses off.
The ghost
And
in my
then
apartment did not like it.
and then her bookshelf yeets itself into oblivion, and it was like midnight 30. So there's so much noise because you're on the top floor of your apartment, and there's so much noise. It was so fucking loud. And then it just kept going. Like, it wasn't just, it fell and it was one bang. It was just like a gradual.
And then a bunch of books fell. And then the shit on top of the bookshelf also fell. So it was just a cascade of banging noises. And I was like,
we were like, oh no. And we were just waiting for someone to come upstairs and be like, how dare you exist? But I think it sounded
like
enough like something went horribly, horribly wrong that nobody complained.
Yeah, but also like then Crush, you weren't getting like quietly murdered, and the only noise you could make was like crushing the bookshelf.
Also, was it that night that we heard it? No, it was Saturday night where we heard a like deadly scream.
Yeah,
and we both
actually
just ignored it.
We were going to bed. We
Yeah,
laid out.
Oh, okay, then. Okay,
was in my bed. She was like, and she had the blinkies up on the couch. And she was like, "It's time for bed," and I'm like, "It's time for bed." And then, like 10 minutes after we get in bed, and because we both sit there and play choices for like 10 minutes before we go to sleep.
Yeah.
Like we just hear a scream, and neither of us texted each other. We did not acknowledge it till the next morning, and she was like, "Did you hear something last night?" And I was like, "Yep."
I was like, did you also hear someone being murdered? And she was like, yeah. And we were like, okay.
Did you at least even Google to see if anyone got murdered?
Oh, that's a good point.
No, but fun fact, my complex emailed me like a couple weeks ago, whenever I was in Georgia last, and was like, it was a thing about like no parties or whatever, like, we know there was gunshots in the parking lot last night, and I don't live in a sketchy area. I live in a pretty nice area, like considering where I live,
Yeah.
And I was like,
there were what?
There were what now? Yeah.
Well, and then okay.
You weren't there.
That wasn't. Yeah, it was not.
Yeah, slightly fun story. So we were writing BTDR. There we go. I got it. The new acronym. And we were going a little bit nuts. Like we're getting a little delirious, and then we hear like a song, like the old song by 303, and we were like, "Is that
Don't Trust Me?"
Yeah, we heard that, and we were like, "Huh." That's interesting. And so then every time the song changed, we're just like listening really hard to like kind of try to.
I live above a restaurant. Like my apartment complex has like retail space on one side.
Yeah.
And it's like 2 floors below me is the retail space, and there's like 2 restaurants and then a nail salon now.
Yeah. So we were listening to that, and we were like, oh, this is fun. And then we were like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's open the window. And so we opened the window, and then you could actually hear the music. And so we were writing and just
booty bumping beats, man. It was
awesome. We were just like writing and like bopping, and it was great. It was a vibe.
And we were like, I wish we didn't have work to do right now, so we could just go downstairs and take shots with the people. Like,
I know. Oh,
safe social distance shots.
Speaking of stuff, I have
here.
I have this book with me. I showed it this morning, but you weren't here, and you helped me write it. So
yeah, I did do that.
So this is about to be out.
Yeah, it is.
We are, as far as I know, still having issues with Amazon, which is great. But
yeah, it's wonderful. Oh, there it is. It's just right there.
Oh, okay. You know what? It's kind of fixed itself a little bit because it has disconnected itself from the Blades of Redwater.
Oh, good.
But it's not connected to itself.
Cool.
So we're getting closer.
Yeah, now when you click on Kindle for Blades of Redwater, it just has the Blades of Redwater.
Yeah.
And it does say book 2 of 3.
Yeah, you can purchase all 3 ebooks at once for like a really discounted price.
You're right. It just isn't connected to itself.
Which is a vast improvement because it will connect itself.
And then the release dates are different.
Life is a fucking nightmare. I hate
Life is
Amazon. Because it's been fine everywhere else this entire time.
Yeah.
And Amazon's just like, I'm having a stroke. I don't know what you want from me. The
joys of self-publishing.
Yeah. Some other fun news. DTBOR, this one, is gonna be an audiobook soon-ish.
Oh my god, yes, I forgot. It's so exciting.
I'm very excited about that.
Kieran's our audiobook dude. We love him.
He's our narrator. He's great.
His voice is awesome.
It is,
God, I know.
isn't it? And I'm so excited. There are like some moments in that book that that we have been
fantasizing
about being in audio form, and we're gonna get it, and I'm just very excited. Also, it's gonna be really weird to like reread The Blades of Redwater again,
which we should.
So it's a good way to do it. It's a fun way.
It's a good way to do it.
Yeah,
very fun way to do it.
All right. So, do we have anything else to say about this book?
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna do some writing advice from book club with Bay.
Okay.
If you were going to introduce the serial killer of your book in a conversation that why would anyone have smashed my car up? No one even knew I was coming to town. It must have just been a random thing. Oh, and also like, because at this point, you know, we think that the serial killer is doing it. So this reasoning's wrong, but the result's the same. You don't say, oh, I also told Jason that you were coming back to town. Oh, yeah. Isn't it weird how he was like the one person who tried to get past the cops, that got past the cops when I was in hospital after being kidnapped 10 years ago? Yeah. Also, isn't it weird how he moved to town
right when this shit started?
And, yeah, just before everything started with the groom, to find his dad, who he never found apparently after his mother and stepfather died in a house fire.
Yeah, at that point, Mara had texted us. She read it first, and so she texted us, and she was like, all right, guys, invisible ink time. Jason's the fucking murderer. Like, it was like chapter 2.
And then a couple scenes later, she was talking to best friend, and she was like, I just can't work out why someone would be so mad at me. And then it clicked. I'm like, because the groom was his father. Because we knew that the groom was dead at this point. It had only been mentioned in passing that the groom was dead.
Right.
I was like, because it was his dad. And then the reason that he's so mad at her is because it was Jason. He's a serial killer, and the groom was his father, and he's mad at her because he killed himself.
Together to be the groom.
Yes, the groom was a group effort,
which is kind of weird.
The reasons why she didn't know, though, I don't disapprove of.
Yeah,
it makes sense that she wouldn't know.
Well, I was gonna say the way that the actual serial killer, like, here's the thing: this serial killer was too good for this book. Okay. Because it was actually interesting. So what he did was he stole girls, kidnapped them, and then was trying to condition them to be his bride, and which is an interesting thing. And then when he kills them, he cuts off their ring fingers,
and then hangs them on the dress that he killed them in. And
he dumps his body in a fresh dress.
Yeah, and that's interesting. And then also the twist that, like, oh, you thought that you caught the guy, but it's actually 2 guys. And how that twist was presented was actually good.
That was very interesting.
Because basically a reporter, a nosy-ass reporter, which was the perfect character to do it with, was
I think he was also meant to be like a kind of other red herring too, but he just wasn't developed enough to be one.
I don't know if he was supposed to be a red herring or just a douchey reporter.
It would have been really cool if he was the freaking serial killer. Hey,
yeah, it could have been.
Would have been cooler than Jason.
But he's like, so something I noticed that nobody else noticed was that, you know, and actually it made sense for other people not to notice this because you're dealing with a serial killer who might be moody. But he's like,
you couldn't interview either.
Yeah, but he's like, you literally said it felt like you were talking to 2 people. do you think it's possible that
That
it's
it
two
could
different
be.
people? And it's like,
She was like,
"Ooh,
"Oh,
that's
yeah."
fun."
In my notes, I was like, "Oh, that's super interesting."
And you know what? It's a lot more interesting than having it be a copycat.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
I agree.
also the reason why she didn't initially pick up on why it was two different people was, so she was like, sometimes he'd be really sweet. He'd come in, he'd like brush my hair, have a chat. I mean, always do a rape-a-doodle, sure, but like, you know, he was like
So
in his own sick way, kind of sweet, in a creepy way.
were
And
they
then other times,
both?
I think they both raped her. Yeah,
Were they okay?
they obviously didn't tag team her because that would have been like a dead giveaway that, you know.
Yeah. I just want to know if they were both raping her. If it was
All right,
one person.
I'm gonna ask a question inside chat.
Jason definitely did,
Yeah, Jason definitely did. He confirms that.
but I'm pretty sure Daddy did too. But she also, but then she was like, but then other times he'd just come in a rage and just beat the crap out of me. And then, yeah, she clicked that when he was in a rage, he never spoke.
Yeah.
He would, and
I mean, not necessarily.
not necessarily, okay, like, because they could, like, they're father and son, so they might be very physically similar.
Oh God, I wasn't going there. I was just
But
thinking
the
like,
other
I'm not
thing,
even necessarily talking about that bit. I'm like physique as well.
yeah,
yeah, like
they're probably similar. Like a lot of fathers and sons, I would say at least half of fathers and sons are similar heights, similar builds, all that stuff. And you know what? I'm just gonna say it. They probably also. There's a good chance that they probably also have similar dingleberries. If I say
Like
it that way, maybe
family jewels.
we won't get in trouble. Yes.
Similar family jewels.
well, and also yeah, so she also says explicitly that whenever it was the angry one, he didn't talk
She's
to her.
Googling this.
I'm Googling up his dick size genetic. Like, I'm assuming it probably there definitely is a genetic component because, you know, but I don't know how. His dick size genetic.
Is it?
It's a joint genetic
It's a joint effort.
between mothers and fathers. Although most of the genes responsible for the penis size live on the X chromosome, there are some genes on the Y chromosome that have links to. So, yes,
Google changed their font.
What?
did they?
Google changed their font. Like the search result font on my phone, it's different.
Is it? Screenshot.
It looks different for me.
Yeah. So, I don't. It looks the same for me.
Oh my god, it's different.
Okay,
looks
cool. Okay, I'm not crazy.
Like it's not insanely different.
But it's enough that my eyes hurt.
It's enough that I'm not okay with it.
It's just a little bit more organic.
Okay, mine hasn't changed.
Is
Maybe
penis?
I can see the difference, but mine is not different.
I don't like this.
Wait, let me go back to that message because I think the P, the P EGAT. I'll show you my one. Because
the Google search is really great.
We both Googled the same thing. So like you can see with the capital P and the E next to it, the differences in the two fonts.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It's
I think they changed it to Futura, but I'm not sure.
the people also search for this for you, what you sent me, Mara. My son has a big package.
I'm gonna find that.
Okay, and then the classy way to Google it is being well endowed hereditary.
And then when I clicked on it, the number one top thing. I'm a mom. Wait, it's a Cora question. I'm a mom. I was walking in the hallway when I saw my son's girlfriend giving him a blowjob, but they did not see me. I saw everything, and his penis is huge, like at least 10 inches. I feel awkward around him now. How do I feel normal again?
Oh God.
And then, you ready for the top answer?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it would seem awkward for sure. Yes, obviously. Like, how is his father hung? Is he big or is your son bigger? My best friend said his mom caught him naked getting blown by his girlfriend when we were in high school, when we were about 16. His mom sent the girl home straight away and then quizzed my friend as to what else he had done with the girl. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, he said that she told him he was twice as big as his father in the penis department, and he was a jock, so he was built a lot better as well. His dad's a big guy, and I mean, like, blah, blah, blah. Like, so, okay, so this guy has also seen his friend's penis soft, and it was like 6 to 7 inches. He said after that day, she'd just walk into his room whenever. But he said it was usually when he was in the shower or after when he was naked, and it made him feel very awkward as well. He never said if they ever became sexual, but his mum was hot as hell. Okay. While he's not at an age where this is a potential issue yet for me, I have a son. One thing that you do as a parent to a teenager especially, but especially a mother to a teenage boy, you know what you do before you enter the room?
Yeah,
you knock. You always knock. Why? Because teenage boys, they're teenage boys.
They're pubescent.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I have spoken to enough people that used to be teenage boys to know that, like, the stereotype of teenage boys, anything making them think about sex is accurate. Like, it's always on their mind because they've got testosterone just coursing through them. They're not used to dealing with it yet. It's a thing, it's an adjustment for anyone. So, yeah. You don't ever, and you never ever clean out his room without giving him prior warning, because you don't want to be fined whatever the fuck you're going to find in there. Because teenage boys also aren't renowned for being the most tidy.
Yeah, or sneaky.
Yeah, but if I somehow managed to catch that situation happening, I would probably, unless they caught me catching them, like, I mean, I wouldn't linger.
Like it never happened.
But, or worst case is, I'd be like, hey, Stixie, well, of course I would tell him. And I'd be like, and I'm like, you decide how this is best dealt with because you are male and you know better than I do. And then I would let him deal with it. Never, right? And if I managed to see his dick, I would not be sitting there going, well, who's bigger? My husband or my son? And then I definitely would not feel comfortable walking in on him in the shower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I currently see my son's penis countless times a day because he's 3. It's fine. And up until before they hit puberty, it's not an issue if you see your kid naked. But once they hit puberty, even if you're the same gender, you generally tend to show a bit more respect. When they're opposite gender, it's like, your body don't want to see.
Yeah, it's like,
well, and I will say this, if you have any, like, it doesn't matter if it's a boy, especially if it's a boy, but even if it's a girl, fucking knock, okay? Just knock.
Like, it's just a lot. Like, I mean, I would knock on daughter's door too, unless I was mad at her and then I'm just storming, because, like, if I catch her mid-change, it's not creepy if I catch her mid-change. Because it's girls, but for the most part. But also, I don't want to risk catching her doing stuff too, because again, that's freaking awkward. No parent wants to walk in on their kid working out how their junk works. That's you as an individual, you do that by yourself in your own space. And if it was in the hallway, and like, okay, if I caught my kid in the hallway getting a blowy though, I probably still wouldn't say anything at the time, but I'd be like, Stixie, you need to have a chitty chat about appropriate
appropriate places to receive blowjobs, okay?
Like, I mean, I don't want to think about it, and if I can't risk walking in on it unless I'm doing the wrong thing, then I can at least pretend it's not happening. I can distance myself from the reality of life, okay? And that is my prerogative as a mother. But how did we get to this?
Because we Googled his dick size genetic to try to decide if they both raped her, if that would be obvious.
Somewhat. So
Yeah.
probably, but also based on the trauma as well, she's probably like, even if there's like an inch or two difference,
She probably can't tell. Yeah.
she probably
Unless it
couldn't
was like
tell.
micro penis versus schlong.
Yeah.
That's probably the only
Or
time.
like, or even like, yeah, like if one time, right, he's barely long enough to actually penetrate, then the next time he's fucking her cervix,
Yeah. She'd notice that.
she'd notice that. But as long as they're around average, give or take an inch, she probably wouldn't notice.
Yeah.
And physically, yeah, there's a good chance that they're physically, just in general.
Well, I mean, she
Similar
saw
in-
them both with their face covered and didn't work it out. So
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would say that Jason takes after Daddy in almost every way, except for his patience level.
well,
Although I will say, he goes on about how little patience he has. I feel like he's got a lot of patience.
well, yeah, because here's the thing: if it had been him that had done everything, then you would have been like, yeah, you're a dick. But it's just like he's just been murdering other people and not fucking bothering her this entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then she comes back and he's like, hey, missed you, bud. Hug. Well, internally he's like, fuck you, I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah, he's like,
But-
fucking hate you.
But he's playing the long game here.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
That's
that is
patience.
patience. Like, that's a patient man.
Say what you will about the serial killer thing. He's
He's a
patient.
patient man.
He's a patient man.
Not wrong.
He's not even really hunting her in a way that's obvious to us, or at least they didn't go into it, because yeah, the only thing he does to her, he murders other people, but the only thing he does to her is try to kill her.
I will say that the sus stuff that involves him, though, at the beginning, aside from his parents randomly died in a fire thing, the sus stuff that I attributed to, like, that made me feel like it's him, and the little clues, again, they weren't him. Because I was like, who else knew you were driving your mother's car tonight after, like, the dead deer incident? Oh, just Miranda and Jason.
What if it had
No.
been Miranda?
Dude, that would have been interesting.
That could
That
have
would
been
have been real.
real.
That would have been real interesting. But she can't. I mean, I don't want to think about it.
Okay, if you're gonna have a backstory though, where your serial killer killed his mother and stepfather in a house fire, that's something that comes up when he does his villain speech.
Yeah.
It's not, hey, remember Jason, the guy whose parents died in a fire? Remember that guy? Yeah.
Moved here right before the murder started. Yeah. Yeah.
Was looking for his real dad? Yeah.
Yeah. It's all very
Like-
suspicious.
Yeah. The only one that cared enough to get past the police to have a chat with you and see how you were going, aka see if you knew anything. You don't have that in the first mention. And again, you also don't have all this sus shit happening to her, him being one of the only people that knew about the circumstances. It's just
So stupid.
like Cole is like, in terms of characters and everything, he's like he's the obvious choice, especially because he's like just overly involving himself.
Yeah.
Is a trope of serial killers. They overly involve themselves.
I will say this, even though he's not a serial killer, sweetie, I think your relationship moved a little too fast. I think you guys are unhealthily codependent, and I think you should maybe take a fucking beat.
Yeah, I mean,
No,
like,
they
I
got
know that
married.
they've been each other's one that got away for a decade,
Yeah.
right? I get that, but they were together for 2 months before she got kidnapped.
Yeah.
And then now they've been together a week and they're like, I love you too. And then it seems like they got married about 2 months later.
Yeah, I don't not sure how long it was.
They were in a relationship for about 4 months with a 10-year gap halfway through that. And I feel like that's a bit quick.
That's a bit quick. Also, it took way too long for them to have sex. It was like 20 chapters in. I was like, what am I reading? I'm like, what is happening? Can they just blink?
Yeah, am I reading a
I wrote that in my
blinky book
notes so
or
many
not
times.
a blinky book? Because
Yeah,
this,
like-
this book doesn't read as a good not blinky book, and it's not a good blinky book either.
It's a romantic suspense thriller.
Well, here's the thing. Here,
I should
okay,
have blinked earlier.
possibly
Well,
unpopular opinion on book club with Bae. You can't do. Well, maybe you can, but I don't really see how. You could do a really good romance novel and a really good thriller, because the thing is, it's really hard for Brian to be like, I want to boink this guy for her, and also who's the murderer. Like, that's
It's very two very different
two
moods.
very different. Yeah, it's two different vibes. Okay,
Like
so
the ones where that dynamic kind of works is where the romantic subplot is more like the sexual tension between the cop and their unlikely partner.
right, but like, it's not. But like a full-out romance novel where we're getting explicit sex scenes.
It's a
Like, if you're saying the word erection,
and the what was it? Those cute little nipples.
Yeah, he's like, I know you want me because of your
Wait, I'm gonna find.
It's like chapter 14
I
or something like
forgot
that.
about that.
I'm just typing in little nipples.
It might be hard.
Wait.
It's cute.
Okay, here we go. Oh, you want a second chance? My mouth dropped open. And what makes you think that, Mr. All-Knowing? Yeah, that, wait, those lips of his coasted over my cheek, causing me to gasp. Yeah, that right there tells me you want a second chance. And I've seen the way you looked at me today. And you know what else? Those hard little nipples pressed against my chest tell me you want a second chance.
Okay.
No one would say that. No one would say that.
That kind of dialogue does, honestly, Addie, you would be surprised the bullshit people say when they're horny, okay? Like, first
Yeah, but
of
they
all.
never even boinked. If they'd boinked before, I would have been like, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
But,
okay. But moreover, okay, you cannot have dialogue like that in like in a book I'm supposed to take seriously. I'm confused because you can have sex scenes that work in a romantic subplot in a serious book. That's fine. Okay? But when you start talking about like
Hard
when
little
he's taunting
nipples.
her about her hard little nipples, and also erections are everywhere, and we're eating
And from
we're
that
eating
scene on,
fish cookie in the morning and all that kind of stuff. It's like, this is this book is confused.
Yeah.
It doesn't know what
okay.
it wants.
In the one conversation, like I'm counting in, like, okay, in the one conversation, still isn't your fault, babe. And then we go to the next time he speaks. Did you say something, babe? And Mom's just like, it's so cute. And I'm like, no, it's actually really, like, you's hooked up once. You's kind of hooked up once. The night before. That's it.
Yeah.
You don't go into babe territory after you mention her hard little nipples once.
Yeah, like almost boinking is not like, hey, you want to be my girlfriend? You need to have her freak out and do but what are we? And
Yeah,
so
like,
you
I mean,
can go,
sure
I don't know what we are right now, and I need more time. And then like, like a week later.
Aside from the occasional like babe slipping out, like, you know, just while chatting, like maybe like once in a, for lack of a better term, a meeting, when Stixie and I first started dating, I guess, before we got like Facebook official and shit, babe wasn't a thing.
Neither was it
aside from a very, very, very occasional, you know, and like usually pretty much probably like almost immediately post sex or something like that, you know, or drunk.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
common usage of the term, it took me about like you know, you ease into it, like, because you're like, I
Yeah.
don't like, when did we transition from names to pet names?
It was
And
like,
it takes about
babe.
2 months.
Yeah.
And then the first time you say it, you're like,
Feel weird.
too
And
soon.
then it just becomes
Was
normal.
it too soon? And then
Yeah.
and then
I think that I still don't do it. Like,
That's fine. You
try
don't
it
seem
next
like the type of person.
yeah,
just
I'm,
try it
I'm
next time to see what happens.
Just text him saying goodnight, babe, and see how it goes.
I'll report back.
So,
Yeah, it's just also not my personality. So like it hasn't happened. But like pet names didn't happen until we'd been dating for like a minute.
Yeah, like, not you spooned once, not even all night, because he went back to the couch. So he came in, they did a snuggle, he did a little bit of kissy kiss, mentioned nipples,
And
then
now
he left,
and now they're acting like they've been in a relationship for
and
a
now
year
he's
and a
babying
half.
her
Like, I'm
in front
sorry.
of her mother.
didn't he babe
Not just
her
in
their
general,
first
in front of her
conversation?
mother.
Hang on. Didn't
No,
he babe her the first conversation?
I don't think so.
I'm searching. On my freaking way. Search for babe. Come on. Oh, okay. No, that's a flashback.
Oh, yeah, that's fine then. Flashback babes are fine.
Yeah, that's fair because they'd been dating for a couple months.
But yeah, like, especially if you're going to go into premature babe territory, you don't do it in front of your
The mum.
because that implies that a relationship has been established.
Ah, I found it. He calls her babe when she goes to dinner at his house. He says, "Anytime you want me to cook for you, babe, I'm your servant." Yeah, that happened. And then she immediately is like, "So, what do you do at work?"
That would be me.
Me too. Me
Like
too.
me
I
too,
don't know,
sweetie.
that's a good thing.
Like,
I don't.
okay.
Yeah, no. If I was on a first date with the guy, even if I knew him, and he just throws out a babe, I think I'd be like, this is a bit soon. I'm Mara.
No
if that's
second date for you, sir.
Yeah. No, like same though. I would have been like, no.
not going to be an overly attached stage 6 clinger.
Which he is, to be fair.
And it's also really hard as well because, like, I kind of get him sticking to her like Velcro in this book, and I'm curious to see if the dynamic changes because it's not healthy in a long, like, even considering her trauma, it's not healthy. Like,
yeah.
one book that does I guess both series do it, but Alpha and Omega and Mercy, but it feels a bit more prominent in Alpha and Omega because we're in Charles's head and he actively has the thoughts, I guess. But they're like, the best way we can protect the person who we cherish more than anything is to teach them how to protect themselves.
Yeah.
And that's healthy. That's healthy. But in this one, he's just like, no, you must sit in the bedroom and be a damsel while I sit out here and be your protector. Like, in that time, he could have like been going through like self-defense techniques because everyone in the FBI knows basic self-defense. They know advanced self-defense because it's part of your training.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he cared about her, because he can't be with her 24/7, especially considering there's a lot of times in the book when he's not with her.
Yeah, when he has to go to work, yeah.
Yeah. So I guess maybe, he's not on leave then. But
no, they talk about him going on leave after mom has a heart attack.
That's right. Yeah. So he could have been teaching her self-defense, how to, because biggest thing with self-defense as well is not you don't the goal isn't to take down the person, it's to get free and run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a very important skill for her to learn and would actually help her probably overcome a good chunk of her trauma.
And it could have been a good sexual tension moment.
Yeah, for sure.
Because a lot of self-defense techniques are done when the attacker comes at you from behind and he wraps his arms around you. And how do you get out of that hold? How do you break it? So, like,
Yeah.
you know, there's lots of, like, you know, grabby grabs. But Cole doesn't want someone who can take care of themselves, apparently. And we don't get to see whether or not that gets healthier.
Yeah, which it's fine, whatever.
The,
They get married and have babies, probably.
I mean, it's better than Covenant.
That's true.
It's better than the Gamble brothers.
That's also true.
Fuck.
But that doesn't mean that it's good.
If the Jenny, so far out of the Jenny books that we've read, I feel like this is so far top tier.
Yeah, I would
This is
agree with
S tier compared.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see if she's got anything better though. Because I feel like if this is the best she can do, then
Well, we are doing every Jenny book ever.
yes.
How many books has she written? I was about to look at
Too
her.
many. Too fucking
lot.
many.
Well, because she also has that
Genuinely, that's her adult.
Yeah, she also has her pseudonym.
Yeah, but a lot of them are being republished with just Jennifer. L. Armentrout.
And they're all on her website. So, Addie,
there we go.
I didn't.
Yes, ma'am.
I discussed this earlier today with Bae. So you don't have to be interested in this if you don't want to be. But the boyfriend has requested that we do the Witcher books for book club. So that he can do book club with us.
Boring.
Yeah,
I feel like that would be so boring.
apparently they're not. I don't know.
How many are there?
That's a great question.
Idea.
Let's go look.
Yeah.
Witcher books. Oh my lord.
How many are there?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
What?
There's 8 of them.
I'm gonna
You
text
committed.
him.
Damn, she has written a lot of books. My god, Jenny, where does it end?
It doesn't.
Every year there's more.
Yes, there it is. Tempting the best man, tempting the player, tempting the bodyguard. Remember when we did those?
I don't want to think about it.
Where are the Gamble? Oh, was that the Gamble brothers?
There's only 6 Witcher books.
Then why did? Hang on.
There's 6 primary works.
Okay. So one of them might not be like canon.
Depending on how it goes, I don't know that I'm going to be able to hang in there for 6 books.
Like the show was interesting, but I feel like reading it would be hell.
I got
there's
bored
prequel
watching the show.
There's 2 prequel novellas.
Or
short stories. I don't. Yeah, sometimes on Goodreads the short like 3-page long short stories get put in as well. So I don't know how long those are. They could be full-blown novellas. They could be like short stories. I don't know.
So, are we done with Till Death?
I think we're done with Till Death.
Yeah.
Okay,
cool.
So let's have a conversation.
Let's talk about my wonderful find today.
Okay. Yep. So need to reiterate that this is incredibly short. Like I read this in
It's 16 pages.
Yeah.
It is 16 pages long. That's ebook pages, so like it's probably shorter. It doesn't have a print version, obviously, because it's 16 ebook pages.
Yeah.
Unless it's in like an
it's probably like 3,000 words.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty
So
okay, so it's by she's got my initials or he. Is it a he or a she?
It's a he, but it has a she pseudonym.
Well, Heshi has my freaking initials, MJ,
Yes.
and I'm triggered. It's by MJ Edwards.
So this is about kissing the coronavirus, in which the coronavirus manifests itself as
Hang
a
on.
person.
Wait, let's
got
read the
it.
Goodreads blurb.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dramatic reading, please.
Oh, me? Got it.
Yeah, you do.
I just was gonna read the first line of
No.
the freaking blurb.
I find the Goodreads blurb.
Yes, ma'am. On my freaking way. Let me just.
All right, you got this. Come on.
It was loading. I'm sorry.
Oh my god! I just read like the beginning part, towards the end of the Goodreads blurb, and just discovered, I guess, the genre. It actually has a term.
All right.
What's the genre?
Viral erotica. We'll do some research in a second. Yeah,
One moment. You do a dramatic reading. I'm on a mission.
She was supposed to cure the coronavirus. Instead, she fell in love with it. Dr. Alexa Ashingtonford, whatever, is part of a crack team of scientists tasked with finding the cure to the devastating coronavirus. Little did she know she would end up falling in love with it in this steamy, viral erotica. Kissing Coronavirus is a steamy tale about forbidden love and dark desires come to life.
No,
Okay.
I will say, when going into it knowing that that's the premise, I wasn't expecting her to be 95% of the way there when it starts off.
Yeah, I know, like you're there. Like when it starts.
Yeah, okay. So I looked up viral erotica. Viral erotica is literally just erotica stories that involve the coronavirus.
There's more?
Not necessarily that are about the coronavirus itself,
but they're about
but they're about fucking in quarantine.
Wait,
What
sorry, I
the
just
fuck is
want
this?
to read. I just want to this is like the general feel of the reviews. This is one of them. Listen, I should have known what I was getting myself into, but honestly, after reading several reviews and being naive enough to think that this can't be real, right? I was taking one for the team in Reddit, and oh boy, I feel like I'll never recover from this.
Make it go viral, gay demon edition for adults only. What would you give to
I just
become
sent
the
them a
next internet superstar? For one struggling social media consultant, the offer is his body and his soul. But will his new demonically inspired memes usher in fame and fortune, or simply hell on earth, an outrageously naughty update of the Faust legend featuring corruption, oral and anal action, orgies, and more?
5,000 words.
Oh my god, can we read that one?
It's another case that this title is not currently available.
That's fine. We got you, girl.
Maybe we're not reading it now, guys.
No. But there's
Okay, hold on. Hold on. I have things to say. The doubts kept plaguing him well into the end of the week meeting later that day. When Mr. Ritz, the company head, called the whole department in. I know the picture doesn't seem too optimistic, he droned on. The big aggregators are okay, whatever. And then yes, absolutely. Memes, streams, whatever. I'm your man. What the fuck is happening?
Sorry, So this one review has some of the phrases that are in kissing the coronavirus, right? And I just read one that I must have either missed or my brain just refused to.
It was hard to catch them all.
Okay, and you're ready for this direct quote. Oh, it's gross.
Do it, bae. Do it.
His tongue, so soft and hot, like a microwave. Wait, let me start again. I don't want to. His tongue, so soft and hot, like a microwaved fish sloshing around inside her mouth.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So some excerpts of kissing the coronavirus.
Well, I think first we should just give a synopsis.
Well, we did.
Yeah, okay. But essentially what happens is she has a test tube She tries to put the test tube in her vagine, but then her boss walks in, and then it's fine. And then she fucks with one of the vaccines, and her boss takes it because he's like, I have coronavirus.
Yeah, she adds more COVID into the vaccine.
And then
he injects himself, and he already has the coronavirus. And because the virus in the vaccine and the virus in him is too much virus for one man,
he becomes the virus.
He becomes the coronavirus.
And like he's green.
And
like,
they bang.
Call me COVID.
And they bang, and then she rests and dot, and it ends. So I don't know if she dies or not. But
I'm assuming she dies.
But she's immune.
Okay.
Remember?
So some excerpts.
Yeah, okay, I gotcha. All right.
Alexa felt a rush of excitement every time she picked up the corona sample, like a pulsating, erect penis desperate to unleash its devastation on anyone who touched it.
That's like the second paragraph.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know, okay?
Okay. The tickle in her knickers when she worked with the sample was the only sexual release she had experienced since the virus had unleashed hell and taken its hold on the world.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I did have a bit of a trigger in this one, but that's because, right, okay, I know that a common term for underwear in the US is panties. Here it's not. It's weird if I hear someone say panties, right?
It's weird.
It's generally underwear or undies here.
Yeah.
But with my kids, you know what we call them? Knickers, because it's like it sounds cutesy. So hearing it in this context or reading it in this context, I was just like, And I'm a bit worried now that every time I'm saying to my daughter, like, where's your knickers? You know, like when she's getting dressed after the bar, I'm gonna like just get flashbacks to freaking kissing the coronavirus.
Also, okay, she rubbed her hand over her breast, her nipple hardening like a Tic Tac. Imagine how it would feel if she touched herself with it. Pretty
this
great.
Is all chronological order.
Alexa thought. Pretty great. Okay, but can I need to critique the writing here, okay? Because that sentence has no antecedent, okay? So imagine how it would feel if she touched herself with it. The last we got is her hardening nipple Tic Tac thing. So that implies that the antecedent for that sentence is
her nipple.
Is her Tic Tac nipple, not the I know it is the coronavirus, but like
if this was first person, it would have been fine.
Yeah.
But it's third person. Because first person, every sentence that gets said that isn't dialogue is part of the protagonist in a monologue.
Yeah.
So it's fine. You don't like that sentence. That thing would have been, but yeah, it's third person. So
yeah, you can't pull that antecedent shit in the. Okay, Alexa pulled down. I'm gonna censor some words that make me uncomfortable. Alexa pulled down her lab pants and pulled her panties to the side. Her snoochadoodle so wet that the lace glided across her skin like a fat man on a water slide.
Yes, this is real. This is published content.
I mean, it's
also
definitely
free with Amazon Unlimited, guys.
It's definitely self-published content.
Oh,
definitely self-published. But someone is getting paid because they wrote this. Okay, this isn't on a blog.
So this is on Amazon.
She liked muscular men who looked like Greek statues, except with huge cocks rather than small ones.
Also, her boss is named Dr. Gertlichen. I don't know. That's just
okay. And then Dr. Gertlichen became more determined, so determined, in fact, that he had stopped listening to reason. And because Alexa had huge boobies, a thick ass, and nice legs, he would sometimes overlook her. Fascinating.
Yeah, also it seems like they take zero, or like they do people right. Okay, because also the way that this book is written, anyone who gets the coronavirus is going to die. Like, that's just the way the book implies, right?
Yeah.
And we all know that that is absolutely not the case.
Yeah.
Like, we're not going into whether or not it's as bad as everyone says it is, or this or that. We're not going into that. But just pointing out though that at this point, over 90% minimum, over 90% of people who get it survive. Whether or not they have ongoing health issues, different story, but it's not even so. But
in this universe, it murders everything it touches.
Yeah, but in this universe, it seems to murder everything it comes across, except for her. Maybe
So,
personified corona.
she might have died. That's fine.
They're not having any sort of personal protection equipment on. There's no mentions of masks. And this guy walks in and he doesn't know that she's already had it and was asymptomatic and is now immune or whatever. And he's just like, by the way, I have coronavirus. And he's just breathing into her face as he says it.
It's fine. It's fine.
Okay, if only, this is talking about her boss, if only he had a beard and was taller and had a big cock and was handsome and made her wet. Like COVID-19.
You missed one though.
Oh, sorry. She loved beards. And a mustache was the start of a beard. Like, micro penises are just the start of real penises.
Okay. And I do have to say though, never have I looked at a mustache and gone, that's only the start of a beard.
Yeah, no.
I just look at him and go, no.
I just read the next one. Even the sound of the virus made her ovaries clash together like cymbals.
I just need to look and because there was one bit of oh no, it hasn't happened yet. It's fine. When we get to this, because this one isn't highlighted. It's the one I said before.
Then she commits fraud by putting more of the virus into the vaccine.
Yes. Oh my god.
There's a little plop sound. There's a little plop.
Yep.
Bob? Who is Bob? Came a voice. Alexa blinked.
Wait, because then he's like, the vaccine's ready for thing. And she's like, well, let's do approval. And he's like, no, I'm going to inject myself. And then, we're skipping approval from the medical council. Alexa's heart flooded like it had done the time she fucked the farmer's cross-eyed son and uncrossed his eyes.
Okay, so now we have this part.
The coronavirus has taken over the doctor's Gertlichen's body.
So we're talking to COVID now. Bob, who is Bob? Came a voice. Alexa blinked. Who? What? Bob? Uttered Alexa. What do you mean? I know no Bob. A hand clamped down on the workspace. It looked like a normal hand, except it was green. Dr. Gertlichen, what's happened to your hand? Wailed Alexa. I don't know who that is. Came a bellowing bellow which rattled the beakers and tinkled the tubes around the lab. Alexa stepped away from the wall, her heart ravaging inside her chest. She took tiny steps toward Dr. Gertlichen, her breath short and sharp.
Yep. Okay. Just in relation to this whole thing, okay. I'm cutting out all the in-between stuff and just leaving the actual dialogue, okay? Who are you? I don't know. Do you know who you are? The actual dialogue.
And then
the
conversation.
But the conversation literally goes, who are you? I don't know. Do you know who you are?
No.
Like,
Also,
the question, he'll know.
Real quick. The cover, by the way.
Okay.
The Hulk. Okay, the coronavirus is the Hulk, apparently.
All right. So then, one detail at a time. Dr. Gertlichen stood behind the workspace to reveal himself. His strong brows, his piercing blue eyes, supple lips, a wide jaw, like the trunk of a car, thick, bulky bulky, thick shoulders, a flat stomach, a bulge in his trouser, the size of a medium-length python. Legs.
Yeah,
It just ends with legs. That's all like different lines too. It's so dramatic.
But like, I get hyperbolizing. Okay, I get you, but this thing seems to take everything literally. So I'm trying to picture a dick literally the size of a medium like python, and I don't think she
compares it to an arm later.
Yeah,
I don't think she. Well, sorry, the author's a he. Yeah,
I'm getting there.
So.
Yeah, whoever the author is, they don't. I don't think they grasp just how big a medium length python is.
Suddenly, a strong chunk of a finger rubbed across Alexa's cheek. The virus had wiped it away for her. He had been strong but soft, assertive, yet caring. Alexa's clitoris floundered. She felt his convulsing member against her waist. It was so long and warm and fat, like an arm without the bones.
She wondered what it would look like when erect.
What's your name? She asked. Call me COVID. I'm losing my fucking mind. And he spun her over, clamping his hands down on her ass, spreading her cheeks so wide he could thrust his warbling member deep into her pocket of ecstasy.
Oh God! Oh God! The next one makes me so uncomfortable.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. This next one, when I read the first line of the highlighted thing, I literally went, ooh. Like,
okay, a firm hand cracked against her ass, and COVID grunted like a thunderclap. He filled her with love lotion, which oozed out instantly and spread right across the floor. That will, without a doubt, thought Alexa, take a long time to clean up.
When it dies, it doesn't fucking matter.
Right. I don't like. Genre aside, okay, I know that this is like. Okay, I feel like this is actually entering like haunted vagina bizarro fiction land.
Yeah,
okay?
Yeah.
Oh, this is definitely
I don't care that we never, ever, ever use the term love lotion ever again.
All right, BTDR, we got to use the term love lotion somewhere.
All right, no, we also. I'm gonna ask my boyfriend.
I will start a boycott campaign if you put love lotion in there.
It wouldn't be in that context. We'd use it much more subtly.
I said, okay, I'm texting my boyfriend, and I'm saying, is love lotion an okay thing to call jizz? I want a man's opinion on this.
Oh, I'll ask mine too.
I can't ask Dixie because he's been on night shift and he's currently sleeping, and I don't think he would appreciate being woken up to be like, "Hey, can I call you jizz love lotion?"
It's not okay. Also, honestly, this brings me back to like when we were in high school and we would just read out fan fiction to each other for no reason, and we were just like, this is weird, because we got some weird terms from that. Like, I remember pearly ropes being one of them.
Do you remember when we read that Transformer
yes
erotica?
Yes.
I think that was more recently. I think that was only like a couple of years ago.
I think it might have been, but I do remember that quite vividly. You know what? No, I think what it was is that we remembered it and we were like, did we imagine that? And then we found it.
Yes, I think that was it. It was too.
And there's very disturbing Transformers erotica. You don't want to know about it? It's where they like...
I'll find it. I'll send you the link.
Please find it. Please find it.
On a mission right now. Fanfiction.net.
Yeah. You might have an easier time Googling it.
One book club, I feel like we're probably gonna just have to like just get absolute like, you know, we'll have a drinky one where we just literally read bad erotic fan fiction.
That would be awesome.
It would be.
Some of the Harry Potter ones are freaking. There's a lot of Harry and Draco.
Transformers erotic.
I hate that this is going into our Google search history.
I think this might be it. Is this it? No. Okay, this might be it. No,
I think it was Dude on Dude.
it was.
It was Optimus Prime and Ratchet, I think.
You're making me really sad. My kids love Transformers. I'm not reading it. I refuse.
Let's see if we can even find it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know.
We're going to have to find it.
It's okay. Find it after.
Yeah, because it's going to take a minute. Okay. Well, we have to finish this book that we're on right now.
I just got to the next highlighted thing, and I had a giggle with this one.
Please read it.
Love? She never felt it before. Lust, absolutely, but love, never.
Yeah,
so was this it? Was it? Was it?
But also, wait, before that, a warmth
was
the feeling? A warmth, both inside and out, bubbly like cola, ran through her veins. That one just made me feel a bit weird. But the next highlighted thing, for the rest of the evening, Alexa and COVID remained in their embracing embrace.
In their embracing embrace.
And then and she closed her eyes and she rested and
yeah. So I don't know if his jizz was just
killed
too
her
much virus for her to survive, or
maybe she turned into a COVID monster and they made COVID babies.
That's actually how the virus replicates.
Like, yeah. Does this I'm gonna say if they have a Twitter. Addie, we need you. You always get the replies. Are we gonna ask her?
Cast about this?
No. Are we gonna ask her to tweet Rachel?
Yes.
Tell her what we need. Well, let's try and see if MJ Edwards has it.
Oh, we joked about having you tweet Rachel Kane and being like, "Hey, question. In the Dead Girls Dance, does Michael in ghost form diddle Eve?" Okay, thanks, bye.
I can't ask that. That's too explicit. Oh, and did y'all update the stream since it happened when I tweeted PC Cast asking her if where is it? Where I asked her about the Die Sisters, and she tweeted me back very honestly and said, "Sadly, our publisher was disappointed by the sales of YA superhero books, so they canceled his Die Sisters, and instead contracted us to do a YA witchy trilogy we'd proposed some time ago. Spells Trouble, the first book, releases next year."
You should ask her if they could self-publish it.
And then I replied, "Thank you so much for your transparency. I'm definitely looking forward to that book then." Did she like it? Wait. She liked it. I literally have a direct line.
I'm not seeing a Twitter for this author.
Let me find his real name.
Small update. There are 4 books in the Witcher series, and he's not responding to my love lotion inquiry.
Neither is mine.
I think that's answer enough.
He's sick of my shit.
Mood. MJ Edwards is the pen name for Robert Winter.
Okay. He writes primarily gay contemporary romance. Yeah. MJ is the alter ego under which I get to explore a more erotic side of romance, with combinations of characters along the LGBTQ spectrum.
We were like, so LGBTQ spectrum now includes coronavirus.
Yeah, he has another book.
Robert Winter.
He has another book under the pseudonym that has 4.2 stars, and it's erotica. It's 4 stars.
Okay. I don't feel like this is the same Robert Winter, I hope. Philosopher and historian, doctoral candidate at Macquarie University. Let's see if this is him. I'm going to his website to see if it's the same Robert Winter. I hope it's not.
No, I started reading the fucking blurb for his other erotica book. Let me just tell you.
Share with the class, Addie. Share with the class.
Do you want to spice up your marriage? Or perhaps you have a cuckold fantasy? Whatever your desire, Kink, call JD Pierce. Under his working name, Jasper has built a solid clientele and reputation as JD Pierce, high-priced escort. He specializes in bringing bisexual fantasies to life. Sometimes a husband needs to be humiliated. Maybe a couple wants to be naughty and roleplay the seduction of an impressionable boy. Jasper, aka JD, is the man for the job.
What is this book called?
The Escort's Tale. When a young woman with a unique problem contacts Jasper, though, he fears he's out of his depth. What is her fucking name? Alethea. Alethea's husband, Nick, suffered from a spinal cord injury. He has paraplegia. The couple can no longer have conventional sex, and it's driving a wedge between them. Nick is straight, but Alethea hires Jasper to help them fix things. Despite his doubts, Jasper throws himself into the challenge. He wants to help sexy Nick reconnect with his beautiful wife. Using imagination and honesty and Art's hidden fantasies in both of them, what he isn't prepared for is his attraction to these new clients. The feeling grows quickly from desire to friendship and maybe even something more. Will Jasper help Nick and Alethea and then move on, or will they be the couple to bring to life this escort's own fantasy? The Escort's Tale is a standalone bisexual erotic romance featuring a well-endowed lover for hire, a troubled man in a wheelchair, and the determined woman who brings them all together.
Okay.
Can we?
Can I just say something first?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I found Robert Winter's website. That's his actual thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can't find any trace of a Twitter, but we have an email address.
Do you want me to email him? Is that what y'all want from me?
MJ Edwards has an email address, so I think maybe I should go to that one.
What's the question first?
What was the question?
I don't remember.
Yeah, what's our question for this guy? And they're 19 ferrets.
Does he die? How does it end?
Oh, yeah. Does he die? I'm so enthralled by the story. I must know. I ship COVID and Alexis so hard.
I think that was the question. But do you want to know what's worse, right? Okay, because let me go back to his thing, right? Okay.
Yeah, I want to look at his book.
Robert Winter name. Wait, I've got author. There we go. So, no, wrong one. Also, there's plenty of other Robert Winters in the world that I think would be very upset about sharing this guy's name. But, okay, so this guy, Robert Winter, is a recovering lawyer. He likes writing about hot men in love much more than drafting a legal brief. Once upon a time, he went to Georgetown University Law School. This guy went to freaking Georgetown. And the best he could come up with was they lay in each other's embracing embrace. Upon graduation, he moved to New York to work in a large law firm, but later returned to Washington, D.C. The legal work was entertaining, and Robert spent a lot of time in bankruptcy court, usually representing either groups of creditors or debtors themselves, but legal work didn't satisfy the urge Robert felt to tell stories. When he turned 50, Robert left behind the allegedly glamorous world of international law firms and bankruptcy court to pursue his real passion. Now he spends time in Washington, in Provincetown, in coffee shops and libraries in yurts. Okay, he made that up. He finds there's a better place to dream up ways to torment his characters until they realize they are perfect for each other.
Good God.
Robert divides his attention between Andy, his partner of 15 years, and the Ling of Adventure Cat, who likes to fly in airplanes and explore the backyard jungle as long as the temperature and humidity are just right. When Robert isn't writing, he loves to cook Indian food. The aromas of the spice blends excite and challenge him. Although he's never been to India, the food seems comforting and homelike. A trip to the Golden Triangle to the bucket list. End biography.
He doesn't mention anything about his 19 ferrets.
No.
Because he claims to have 19 ferrets.
I've got his website here. Let's have a look.
He has a book called Vampire Klaus.
Okay, so
Vampire claws, I guess, because it's
I'm not gonna lie, that's a recent photo. He looks pretty good for 50 plus.
yeah.
I did not expect him to look like that.
Robert Winter is an award-winning romance novelist and recovering lawyer. Recovering lawyer, guys.
Recovering.
Okay, so yeah, we get
He can apparently write real books.
Yeah, so
But
okay. So
honestly, though, there are
is
articles about
guy,
this that
but
I
nothing
guess.
about ferrets.
Sorry, what?
Nothing about ferrets. Just his cat.
He
Just
lied.
Cat.
So I guess that's why, because
Unless
it
his
got this
alter
reaction.
ego identifies as someone who has ferrets.
I'm reading this fucking vampire claws. Fucking blurb.
What's the blurb? Share with the class.
'Twas the night before Christmas, but what's stirring is a little more dangerous than a mouse. Calviano is nearly 200 years old and never wakes in the same place twice. Weary and jaded, the vampire still indulges in memories of childhood Christmases in Naples. He lingers in shadow, spying on mortals as they enjoy the holiday. So it's a Christmas romance, just so we're aware. When Taviano spots a handsome young man in Boston.
I get it. Sorry.
Yeah. Spots a young man in Boston loaded down with presents and about to be mugged, he can't help but intervene. Soon he's talking to the joyous, naive, strong-willed, and funny Paul, a short-order cook who raised funds to buy Christmas presents for LGBTQ children. Before he knows what's happened, Taviano is wrapped up in Paul's arms, and then in his scheme to get presents delivered by Christmas morning, a vampire turned into a Christmas elf. What could go wrong? Vampire Claws is a 30,000-word standalone gay romance about a lonely vampire and a fearless mortal with no instinct for self-preservation. A heartwarming ending, no cliffhanger, and a young man who discovers he has a thing for fangs. Isn't that what Christmas is all about?
Yes.
Yes. Discovering you like vampires.
I found his Twitter.
Oh.
It's our winter author. I want to know what awards he has won because I don't know if you were here for that part, babe. He's an award-winning author.
Yeah, I did hear that.
So his Twitter isn't active.
Oh no, it's not active.
Yeah, he hasn't.
You might have to email him at mjedwardsauthor@gmail.com.
When did I become the designated talk to people?
Responses.
You get results. That's why.
Good Lord, this is hilarious.
It's horrible. It's horrible.
Yeah, mjedwardsauthor@gmail.com. At least he makes it easy. Just his name and author. Done. It's nice. It's simple. The book's scary.
I would say. What the hell is my cat doing?
And I also want to know what awards has he won? Because I'm not seeing any. It just says he's an award-winning author. Like
Cassie's underneath the TV stand. What are you doing, Kitty?
Robert Winter, author.
Oh yeah, let's just Google. Yeah.
Oh, okay. He is the winner. Okay, I found an article about how Robert Winter found his happy ending. Okay.
He narrated Vampire Claws for the audiobook. He did it.
Cool.
He is the winner of a Rainbow Award for every breath you take. What is a Rainbow Award now? Rainbow Award writing.
Came in number 2 at Best Gay Book. Wow.
Okay, so the Rainbow Awards is an annual contest celebrating outstanding work in LGBT fiction and nonfiction.
Wow.
Is this, but like it depends though, like is it a nationwide thing? Is it like a Washington DC thing? Because if it's a Washington DC thing only open to Washington DC authors, then that's not really that impressive. Hosted and owned by blogger Eliza Roll. The contest is open to all authors of work containing LGBT, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So he's won a Rainbow Award, and I can't see any other awards that he's won. What's up?
We'll tell you.
You know what? We will tell you when we get off stream.
Okay,
Yeah, we'll tell you.
Because we haven't been able to tell anybody about this.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's about the it though. Like, I mean,
I think we're done. Actually,
Yeah, I think we're done for now.
Did you email it?
I'm not emailing.
All right.
I might give me a couple shots first, and I'll email.
All right.
Okay.
So next, what are we doing next, guys?
Good question.
I thought we were doing Soul Screamers next.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Unless you just have another suggestion for Bad Book Week.
We could try out a PC cast.
We could start Partholin.
We could.
Do we want?
Are we ready? Are we ready to jump back in?
Let's do it.
All
right.
It's adult and there's no Kristen.
It's true. Maybe it's better without Kristen.
I'm curious. Let's find out. Okay, next time on Book Club with Bay, we're gonna You can't just yeet when I'm doing the outro. The fuck? It's not very cash money of you, Bay.
Sorry, what?
She just yelled at you for leaving while she started the outro.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just had to talk to someone really quick.
And then I was just yelling, that's not very cash money of you, Bay.
I'm sorry. We'll quickly do the outro because I need to go and look at something.
Okay. So once next we meet on Book Club with Bay, we're going to be talking about PC cast without Kristen cast, see if that's any better, and also the third book in the Morganville series and the Witcher books at some point, and that is that. Thank you so much for watching. This was really a review of the coronavirus